Hey, I just wanted to show you a few tips and tricks that I might use and see if it helps you along the way. So I have, this is just your first, the low poly mesh from, I believe it's week 2. But here is what I would do. I think you can keep the controller, the buttons as is. I'm going to delete this just for right now. I'm going to go into a top view. I found some pictures online just really quickly. I couldn't seem to find your actual imagery that you used, but I found this top, which I had saved as something else. Hold on. Sorry, for some reason it didn't crop. Mainly what you're going to want to do is make sure that your top and side or front and side views line up as much as possible. So I did something like this and then I just, saved out. We'll just change the side view Xbox. I'll just do a JPEG desktop. Okay. And then this was kind of like my front view. So save as front view Xbox. And my desktop as a JPEG. All right, so let's try this again. So I go to View, Image Plane, Import Image. And actually, I'm in a top. I'm going to go to my front view. There we go. And then I'll go to Panels. I'll do Side, Image Plane, and we'll look for Side View. There we go. Okay, so now when I look into my perspective view, we've got front and side. So you need to pay attention obviously to both, but I would just start with a front view. You can make a cube, and then whatever you find works best. I'm going to insert a couple of subdivisions. You don't want to get too carried away too quickly. Again, we can always insert edge loops along the way. But then I can go and scale. We're just trying to get the main shape here. Scale, move it up a little bit, like so. Okay, so we can always go into shading and X-ray. That allows us to see through our shape and just see the wireframe. Then I'm going to right mouse click and hold and go into vertex. Now if I click and drag around a vertice, you're getting all of the vertices that are in line behind it because this is a cube. So don't forget, there are vertices that go back in space. So if I just click, when I'm in vertex mode, if I click and let go on just one, I'm just going to be moving that front one. But if I make a click and drag around it, I'm getting all of them, so I'm moving them as a whole. So I'll go back to front. And now is when you want to start shaping it. You may find that you need to insert some edge loops. You may find that you just need to move some things around. So I'm just going to start, again, clicking and dragging to fit the space. Now, of course, this is going to start out kind of boxy, but that's okay. Maybe I want to insert an edge loop here. So edit mesh, mesh tools, insert edge loop. I'll put one here, and I'll put one here. Then I can go back into my vertex mode and start shaping this out even more. Okay, So that's how I would get kind of the base shape. Don't forget you can hit 3 on your keyboard to see a smooth version. So we can try to drag some of these out a little bit more, so if it isn't smooth, we're still getting the shape. Now, unfortunately though, if we look at our side view, it's still a flat cube. So I like to model in hard surface mode, which is hotkey 1. But now you can click and drag and start moving these to fit your side view. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's a lot of repeating, but to get the shape that you want. Then you'll at least have a base that you can add, you know, the cylinders or whatever shapes you want to do. You can extrude from the top. So if I want to get, I'll go back into regular so we can see. If I want to get this like kind of the top buttons here, you know, maybe I'll grab these 4 faces and I'm holding Shift to select multiple faces. And then I can go to Edit Mesh, Extrude. I'll hit W for my Move tool, and you can just bump it up. So now I'm getting that button as is. All right, I'm going to delete these image planes to get them out of the way real quick. So once you have this, I noticed in your email you talked about selecting faces for texturing. You can put a different texture on every face. So all you need to do, let's say I need to unwrap this first. So I'm in object mode. You can always go to UV. You could do planar if you wanted to just do a straight shot. You could try automatic. It's kind of a hit or miss. So I'll do that, automatic, and then I'll go to my UV editor. And then I like to be able to see my model and the UV editor. When I'm in the UV editor, I can right mouse click and hold and go into shell. And this kind of shows me when I click on it what I'm looking at. So, you know, that doesn't make very much sense to have a seam along here, right? That's kind of just breaking up my shape. So what you can do is I will go into face mode, select the faces that I want. You know, maybe I want all of these front ones to be a shell. And then I can go to UV planar. Now you'll see this is facing the wrong direction. So I need to go over here. I'm going to rotate that to 0. Then I can expand to actually fit the size of my shape. The numbers, you know, they're a unit of measurement. Do they make, you know, does 10 units make sense to me? No, so I just put in a number and then you can always adjust from there. So now when I go into my UV editor, I can see that the shell that I've created, because I still had my automatic map when I started, is here. So I can grab this, scale it down a little bit. Maybe you want to scale it outward to make it seem a little bit more realistic, and move that to the side. Then it's up to you to decide how you want to do the rest of it. You could leave this if you want. If you're like, you know, I'm just going to use a black color or white or whatever you want to do, or you can select, you know, maybe I want all the side to be certain ones and have the seams along the edges. So that's unwrapping in a nutshell. There's a lot to it, so feel free to ask questions. But then I can go into face mode, and once I'm here, I select a face, right mouse click and hold, assign new material. I could do a Blinn or a Lambert. I would just stick with those two for now. Blinn has highlight, Lambert is matte. And so I'll do a Lambert. And then you can change the color. You could insert a file if you had a texture set up. So you could just keep doing this in face mode, creating as many textures as you want. Okay, so I hope that clarifies some stuff, and let me know if you have any questions.